back to a brand new episode of The Founder. Today we are at CL Synergy and we have with us Mr. Roshan Silva and Mr. Janaka Udamulla. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks.
So can you walk us through what CL Synergy is?
Okay, the CL Synergy is a freight forwarding and the logistics company. The established in 2004, exactly 20 years ago, so we are celebrating 20th year this year. So it started as a 100% Sri Lankan company, which now have expanded into the region as well as the other sectors such as US, UK, Australia and Dubai. So we have now the group of companies, cluster companies which has grown within CL Synergy. So under different brand names or different verticals for different reasons, to capitalize into different segments of the market. So there are few different names: the Eagle Logistics, SB Freight, within the Synergy as the cluster. So CL Synergy is the main company. So where we have a total staff of about 500, and we are very aggressive about the market conditions, because every challenge becomes an opportunity for the logistics. Because if you really look at the world, the logistics industry did very well during COVID. I mean, the transporting from the injection, the vaccines to everything, logistics is a required trade. Everything need to go, whatever the digitalized platform comes in, it should go from A to B. So there is ever increasing demand for logistics. So we are just a tiny part of it in a small country, but our scope is much beyond the boundaries of Colombo, Sri Lanka, and even our tagline says from the start, beyond boundaries. So anybody can do that. There are people who have done it and proved that can be done. So we also want to do that and continue with it.
First of all, congratulations on 20 years.
Thank you.
So every company has their ups and downs. Can you tell us what kind of challenges and opportunities you all have faced from the early days till now?
I mean, if you really look at it, there are external conditions, market conditions, which could come as a challenge. I mean, every time we have taken those challenges as opportunities, because the market is huge, but in order to avoid a risk of any logistics company, you need to have a proper spread of your clientele. That is, if you have a proper spread of essentials to the food items, to the high valued items, so that is, and also the import exports, and then this goes beyond the imports exports to warehousing, 3PL solutions, the PO management, and so its scope is huge. So if you are there in every sector, the business opportunities are there. So any given situation, that risk which is coming through the external factors could be minimized. But then the other thing is, this industry needs a large amount of the capital which goes for the cash flow. So this industry have really helped the exporters, importers in facilitating the credit. Because if you really look at the mainliners, where the credit is very much restricted, maximum up to 21 days or 28 days. But when it comes to the freight forwarders, logistics providers, provides extended credit for the customers. I mean, we give that cushion effect, which really helps the customers to grow. So that's a challenge where you need to, with the growth, with more and more new customers coming in, and also the sudden volatilities in the rate, because sometimes the rate can be just $2,000 to, say, if I take an example, New York, which in 2 months it can go to 8,000. So you can understand the percentage increase from 2,000 to 8,000 in number of containers. So sudden, these cash flow requirements are there. But in our own experience, the local financial institutions, banks, whenever we want a support, for the company's growth in handling these situations. That is, they have always come and helped us, and I believe that they have helped the others as well. So whenever we wanted a support, and on short-term basis they have supported. So that has helped us to grow. And another thing is to retain your staff, knowledgeable staff within the organization is a challenge in the industry. But having said that, I would say we have done it very well up to now, maintaining a very good relationship with the staff, and also the staff who is here today and even who have left and joined the competition. So I believe, we are the only company who has the XCL Synergy Club, alumni club, so which we formed, and we have a memory wall in front. You would have seen that. So that is because what I always look at is the company does not belong to the shareholders or owners. Technically, yes, but yet again, it belongs to the past employees who is here and the future coming in. So we have set a nice trend there, which we are happy about. But yet again, on the industry per se, that's a challenge to maintain the staff who are experienced, well skilled, and who have been with the organization for a while. But it's very important that they continue with the organization for the future.
So speaking about your staff, it was mentioned that it's a well-trained staff with vast knowledge. So how do you all keep up to that? How do you all train your staff?
Yes, the first, when we started, I'll go back 20 years. 20 years when we started, we started with the staff of 9, right? So there are trained, well-trained, good staff in the industry. So and any company would want to employ them, you approach them and then to see whether you could get them on board. But when an organization starts, it's very difficult to attract those staff because they're worried about their careers and then the stability of the organization. But as you go along, and with the recognition of the company and the development of the image of the company, you get to attract trained staff from outside. So that's one thing. But yet again, our staff is concerned, that is through HR, we have continuous training sessions on the job as well as the off job. And we get a lot of resource personnel from the industry to speak to staff. And we have a number of different teams. So teams are separated. So the one thing is the job-based, the product-based knowledge that we need to give it. The other is the motivation, the development to encourage them, and all these things happens, and it's an ongoing continuous process. And there are lots of events within the organization. We participate in lots of sports, even within the organization as well as the mercantile level, the mercantile level. So just to give one example, last year the mercantile A division cricket, we were the champs of 2020, and 50 overs we were joint champs with the Haleys, and the 2020 also with the Haleys, whom we met at the final. So that's at the mercantile level. But then the departmental level, we have lots of events. We just in the process of having a pool tournament and the carom tournament, which is getting to the final stage. We just concluded the cricket, we just concluded netball, we just concluded futsal, and then we also have lots of gatherings, the trips, and also the trips partly towards the outbound training, and then the balance part to have fun, to interact. So that's how we handle the day-to-day things.
So basically your staff is treated like family here. That is what I heard.
Yeah, more of friends and family.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically your company is all about providing reliable services. How have you all evolved with that across the years?
The one thing is the adding on better processes and the improvement on the system, and then we are working on a ERP where the industry works. So then we do the continuous improvements to that, and then the one main thing in our trade is a clear visibility of the movement of cargo, and there is a cargo flow and the information flow. So that is, we provide a very clear visibility on that through our track and tracing, and it's the real-time tracking now, right? So we are connected to all these sites to provide the details. So through the online tracking system, as well as the updates, which is provided periodically based on the customer requirements, and also through the number of research that we do on the trade agreements, as well as the working on the different projects which would help the customers. Say, for example, so say on certain products can have certain duties to certain countries, but at the same time, through extensive studies, you could always identify to various ways of bringing it down, and the different classifications, which we have always helped the customers to do that. So and then also recently we started the robotic process automation, so that has helped the further to improve the efficiencies internally, which is given to the customers certain benefits which is coming through that.
Okay. So I read somewhere that y'all provide personalized atmospheres for y'all's customers. Can you give me an example on that?
Okay, that is on a very specific, before getting there, personalized environment for specific customer needs means, so we try and understand the customer requirement as much as possible. And that is not only the shipping services from A to B or the liner services, that is our scope, the transit times, to making sure that it's delivered on the given time. We try and understand the product in detail of the customer. So that is all our sales, because we have the sales unit and then we have the customer service unit. So the sales unit as well as the customer service units are very knowledgeable on whether it is tea, whether it is scrap fiber, whether those are perishables, whether those are the food items, whatever or the different products. We just identify that, right? So then identifying that helps us to understand the client need, that's the exporter's need, as well as the importer's need, when the goods should be there. I'll give you two examples, because we handle a customer who provides to a large retail store in USA. So then there are 8 distribution points. So then it is at most important that we make the deliveries available on a particular slot given. So then getting the USA custom clearance done, sometimes getting the pre-clearance, pre-pull the containers, and those are very busy warehouse centers. So we make sure that goods are delivered on time. So then working, though the systems are there, it's very important. USA, the time difference is there. So our staff is there. There's a night shift that we work. And so they know exactly the communication is done then and there. Through the system, if needed, the emails, or if we think that there is a delay, that is we are not waiting till next morning. We take a call and we make sure the deliveries are done. That's one example. So another example, I can give a lot of examples. Another example is we have that's our first customer when we started the business. We'll mention the name as well. It's AmSafe Bridport. So that's the first shipment we handle for them. So that's a airline. They have a variety of products. One main product, what they do is airline pallet nets and the straps. Right. So then we did a project long time ago for them. So the goods reaching to US for them, as well as Europe, we did it. US, I'll take that as an example. So that was a duty, which I just briefly mentioned earlier. But then through our extensive research by the customer service team, we identified these goods can be classified as articles of international transportation, where the duty would be 0. So that came through a research we did it through our agents. That was discussed with the customer. And to date, after 20 years, that's one of our main customers. So these things helps, to be with the customer. So even my message to anyone is, so we have a scope That's our logistics. But we don't need to restrict ourselves only to our scope. We can always go beyond our scope to work and provide a personalized service to the customers.
So what are some of the innovative solutions you all have implemented to differentiate you all from your competitors?
Okay, that is, if I answer the services, with the time we have expanded our product base. So if you look at, there are logistics providers who handles only air freight exports, imports, ocean freight exports, imports. Those are key products. So then, but you can expand it to customs brokerage, that's forwarding, then the clearance, and then the warehousing. Then you provide the 3PL and the 4PL solutions where you handle the shipping departmental activities of your clients. Then the transportation, and also the warehousing, not only in Sri Lanka but the other places. So we operate warehouse in Singapore, Belgium, Dubai and US as well. So then the warehousing is one. And then there is an area called project cargo logistics. So then consolidation. There are forwarders who are only focusing on the cargo consolidation for ocean inbound, outbound. So there is a further list. So as far as CL Synergy is concerned, all these services, products are with us. So we did not have it when we started. We handled from one particular area. So we expanded. So what we are doing is to expand this base and to become a fully fledged supply chain logistics provider. And also by doing that, so it becomes a one-stop shop for any customer, for any needs. So that's the direction to which we work on. And then the difference what we still create, though the systems have come in, so though the digitalized platforms have come in, so the automation is at a different level. So what we still believe is, as in the case of any trade, as per my opinion, even this trade, you really need to have that personal touch. So that is, you need to put always the faces to the names, right? So you need to travel. So we have a sales team who travels quite a lot, in the region as well as the other places. We meet people in person. So that is something how we have differentiated ourselves from the others. We keep on meeting people. So we have asked everyone to spend a lot of time in meeting and the human interactions. So that's the way that we work, while providing a full scale, a fully fledged operation, and focusing quite a lot on the human touch and building relationships with the clients, suppliers, and with everyone.
So Mr. Janaka, can you tell us how did you come into working with CL Synergy?
Well, I first met Roshan at the university. We were in the same university together, but Roshan was 1 year senior to me. But eventually we became friends, and I happened to stay at his house for a long time during my university time. And I was studying my finances, and Roshan was doing marketing. So we were in two different streams. And after the university, Roshan started working for a logistic company. And I went on my line on the financial services, so I was more into capital markets and the money markets. But later on, Roshan wanted to start on his own. So he invited me also to join. So that was in 2004. So Roshan started the company in 2004, CL Synergy. So I happened to be a co-shareholder with him. So that's how I got involved in logistics.
So you all have a few joint ventures as well. How do these partnerships complement CL Synergy?
Right. Before the partnerships, I just explained you about how the market works. Now, for example, one might think why you need so many companies to do the same business. But this business is a very large business, and the market is shared amongst large players. So no one player is dominating in these markets. So it's a very open market. So in that, each company has specialized areas where they focused in. And I think in one of the questions, I remember Roshan was saying that this is a individual-driven, relationship-driven business. So when we started in 2004, lots of people approached us to see like how a new company is going to be like. So in that situation, we advise them rather than they're opening on their own for the full spectrum. We joined hands together and we brought their expertise in and we shared our expertise together to make a good combination. So in CL Synergy, we had I would say, if you look at the business perspective, so we shared in three main areas. So we call it the front office, that's the sales, that drives business. Then the middle office, that's the processing. And we have the back office, do the financing and that thing. So we had a very strong middle office and a back office, and we could plug in any of those front offices in. So that was our model. So when we started in 2005, that's the first the joint venture Eagle. So we brought that person in and we said, okay, you go and do your sales. We look after the middle office, the back office. And that became a very successful model. So it's like a plug-in for someone to come in. It's like an incubator system. So that worked very well. So we added much more companies into that. And each company had their own segment of market. So that was one thing that people ask, like, how you manage the competition. So we don't compete each other because each one has their own area of the markets. So later on now, actually, if you look at our company, the same model has been implemented even by Eagle Logistics. So Eagle Logistics has a cluster of companies under them. Yeah. So model has worked really well. That's the way that we work. So basically, we leverage on the financing, HR, admin, core systems, that we have one core back office.
Right. Yeah. So how do y'all measure y'all's customer satisfaction and how do y'all keep up with their expectations?
I would say one benchmark would to say how old is your customer portfolio. The first customer that we started is still with us. That must be saying something that this company has consistent with us so long. So most of our customers are, I would say, the top customers are over 10 years with us. So that means we have been consistent with our services and consistently we have been meeting their expectations. So that's the philosophy that we want to bring it in, not only for the customers, but even for any stakeholder who is working with us. We want to ensure that consistency of services through us. It's the trust, the confidence, all that has to be there, so you need to retain customer for a long period. So we have that, and luckily the group of companies also has gone into that kind of a culture, and their customer base also been very reliable.
So for my final question, looking ahead, what plans do you all have for CL Synergy's growth, and are there any markets that you all are willing to explore further?
Right. I mean, before going beyond, I also need to say that this industry is open to anyone, and there are lots of new companies being added on together. In the last 20 years, I think we have done something very special for us to bring it to this level. So things that, looking backwards, what we see is our strengths are basically our consistency and the policies towards people, policies towards customers, and all that worked in. So we need to now leverage from here to the next level. So we are looking at maybe another 20 years. As Roshan explained, like basically we can grow in three main areas. One, domestically, we have a large market to go and penetrate, because even at the moment our market share is not the highest. We have much more market to grow here. In terms of different products, we can add it on, like the warehousing and all that. We have ways to grow. Other one is going overseas, so which we have started, and then we are already in India, we are already in US, UK, Australia, and few more places that we want to bring it in.
Right.
So initially, next 5 to 10 years, we want to be a good regional player, and then we want to look at going international one day.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks.